And we are live on YouTube. Hi, everybody. I'm just going live on Instagram as well. So I'm going to put this here and we're live. Let me get it right. Okay. So I'm just setting everything up as you guys come in. Thank you so much for being here. Let me make sure everybody can see. We're live on YouTube and Instagram right now. So we're double living it right now. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Tanitra. Hey, Sierra on Instagram. I'm actually going to write something here. I'm going to write the topic that we're going to be talking about, how to easily achieve, sorry, y'all, let me let you see me, your goals this year. And hopefully I can pin it because I always have trouble doing that for some reason. All right, almost done, you guys. But as you guys are coming in, just leave me a comment with your name and where you're from. I love seeing that and I love talking to y'all. All right, here we go. I'm going to try to pin this on Instagram. Thank you so much, Tyresha. Why can I never pin? Oh, there we go. I did it. All right, cool. How to easily achieve your hair goals this year. Hi, Nikita or Natika, Jasmine, Sydney, Mia, Tanitra on YouTube. Hi, Tyresha. Cece's from Virginia, and I used to live in Virginia, so I know it's cold up there right now. Swain Confidence. All right, perfect. Okay, yeah, so we're in the live, and today, you guys, what I'm going to be talking about is how to easily achieve your hair goals for 2019. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because it can be so exciting and such a whirlwind at the beginning of the year when you're setting all your goals and you're getting really intentional about what you want to bring forth for, the new year. But towards, the end of January, usually we tend to slow down. And a lot of the times that happens because there was never a strong foundation, or I wouldn't say strong, I would say clear. Really, a clear foundation was never laid to let you know what you're going to do. So today, that's what we're going to do. If you're struggling with your hair goals for this year, I'm going to help you get back on track in a way that's sustainable, in a way that doesn't also discourage you when you don't hit your goals. So I see you guys putting where you're from on YouTube. Habin is from Toronto. Misa is from Toronto. Chantel's from Huntsville, Alabama. And more people are coming in. Sierra, you said it's freezing in Virginia. Okay. All right, perfect. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and get started. And if you guys can just put in the chat the tips that I say for the people coming in later, that would be really helpful. But the very first tip for easily achieving your hair goals in 2019 is to first really understand what you want to bring forth in your life and why. So I feel like sometimes whenever there are goals to be set, you can kind of set a goal because you think, one, like you're supposed to set this goal. Like if a large majority of people, let's just be honest, a lot of people have hair growth goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. But not everybody wants that. Not everybody wants long hair. Some people are just happy having like short hair. But when you're setting your goals, sometimes just listening to other people and the wave of social media can really like form your thoughts. So what I like to do before I set any goals is I like to journal. So I'll sit down and I'll just think about like, what do I want to feel in my hair care? Not like, what do I want to see? What do I want to feel? So for instance, talking about me, this year, my hair care, I really want balance. I've grown my hair all the way down to my butt. I've been through the TWA stage. I've been in a lot of different stages of my natural hair, but I've never felt like I really had balance to where like I could wash my hair quickly, take care of my hair quickly, and keep it moving with my life. And now that I'm taking some new business ventures, as you guys may have seen, I launched my website today. I need more time in my day. So I wouldn't have ever known that if I didn't really sit down and think like, how do I feel in my regimen right now? And in my regimen in 2018, I kind of felt like it was a drain. Like it would really take me an entire day to do my entire regimen. So I encourage you guys to really just journal what you feel about your hair right now and how you want to feel about your hair in the future. And then something else that I think is really important, because we all tend to do it at some point or another, is to journal about whether you are doing practices with your hair simply to fit in, simply to look more appealable, simply to look more appealing to somebody, or because somebody said something negative about your hair. Maybe, again, I'll use me for instance. When I was first going natural, I had family members who would talk about my hair. Now, this was back before like being natural was a thing. This was like 2010. So people were just warming up to the idea of like cutting off your relaxed hair and having short natural hair. So for people who didn't understand it, they would make fun of me. They would say things like, oh, you have a nappy curl. And like people would call me like Erica Badu, like just to be annoying in my opinion. But what I started to do because of that is whenever I knew I was going to go to an event where somebody like that was going to be there, I would painstakingly define my curls just so they couldn't say anything. And as a result, I actually was causing damage and breakage to my hair because it's fine and doesn't really like to be defined like that. It likes to just do its thing, and I just got to deal with it pretty much. So if there are any practices right now that you're doing in your hair journey, maybe it's straightening your hair and you don't really want to straighten your hair, but people talk about you when you don't. I would just take notice of that, because if you truly want to achieve your hair goals, you have to let go of anything that does not contribute to the health of your hair. And you wouldn't be able to uncover those practices if you didn't really do the mind work. So that's the first tip, to journal about how you truly feel about your hair and how you want to feel in the future. So my next tip, once you've really gotten clear on what you want to bring forth in your hair regimen, is to then focus on 1 to 3 goals that you can attain the most easily. So it's really good to have a lot of goals, but it can be discouraging when you have like 5 huge goals and you're just working towards these huge goals. So I kind of like to vary it up a little bit. And I'll use another example. So your 3 priority hair goals could be that you want to have healthy ends, you want to have a itch-free scalp, and you also want to grow your hair, or let's say you want to retain at least 3 inches for the year, which is half of the average amount of hair that you would grow in a year. So that's a very realistic hair goal. I like that type of structure when it comes to hair goals, because it's not like I want to grow my hair down to my butt. I want to have like the most pop and wash day, or the wash and go in 2 months. Like it's not like goals that would kind of set you up for disappointment, because your relationship with your hair, it's a very personal, emotional thing. And you really want to create an environment that's going to feed like positivity around you and your hair. So going back to those 3 priority goals that I said, once you set those 3 priority goals, you guys are so sweet on YouTube. You want to then outline everything you need to do to achieve those goals. So if you said that you wanted to have healthy ends for the year, now you need to outline how you're going to do that. And this is where the work comes into play. This is what's really, really important. And this is also a step that's skipped by a lot of people, because you say these words like, I want to have healthy ends, but then you never think about, what am I going to do to get there? So what you can do for healthy ends, and if you guys want to throw out some of your goals for 2019, that would actually be helpful, because then I could speak towards your goals. But if you wanted to have healthy ends, what you could do is make sure that you put yourself on an appointment schedule to trim your hair whenever you start to notice your hair getting harder to detangle and more split ends and single strand knots than usual. So for me, that's every 3 months. It's going to take some time for you to learn what your schedule is. But once you find that schedule, it's really important to stick to that schedule no matter what, because hair is pretty much dead protein. And the hair at the ends is always going to be more susceptible to breakage because it's older. So the way that you can really maximize the health of your hair is just by cutting your ends before they have a chance to even get damaged or to cause issues. So that would be a step that you would need to take to have healthy ends, excuse me. And also, if you have any damage, you would need to make a plan to cut that out either all in one go, or if you feel more comfortable kind of staggering it out over the months, that would be good too. So setting your action plan and actually writing it down physically, like in a notebook or a journal or a note in your phone, is really helpful. And I believe it's like 84% of people who actually write down their goals achieve them more often than people who don't. So the power of being intentional and really taking your hair goals seriously is important. So I'm just gonna check you guys' hey Akita. I'm just gonna check you guys' comments to see if anybody has anything. Hi you guys, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the hearts on Instagram. Understand what goal you want to bring forth and why. Yes, Danny, thank you for putting that tip in there. And then the next tip is just outlining exactly what you need to do to bring your priority hair goals forth. Don't focus on every hair goal at one time, 1-3 goals at a time. So let's see. Somebody said that my goal is to keep my curls healthy. So if you're focused on just maintaining the health, actually, I'm focused on that as well. What you want to do, an action plan that you can put together is making sure that you establish your trimming schedule. If you want to make it even easier, you can just go ahead and schedule all of your appointments that you're going to have trims for in one go. So take a Sunday like tomorrow and call your salon or your stylist and schedule all of your trim appointments. So there's no excuse later down in the year when you get tired and things get busy, like you've already set the framework in place to reach your hair goals. Also, what you can do to maintain the health of your curls is to deep condition consistently and write that down so that you're always doing that as well. And then you can put that on your bathroom mirror so that you don't forget. And yeah, those are my 2 tips for maintaining the curl health. Yeah. And then naturally, ooh, that is pretty. Jane, I think, says, I'm watching on my TV and commenting on my phone. I would like to have healthy hair. So you can follow some of those same tips. So once you outline everything that you're going to need to do to bring forth your priority hair goals, now what we're going to do is actually learn more about your hair identity. And I think it's really important whenever you're trying to have the hair of your dreams, because I'm all about the fact that your dreams are attainable even in your hair care. I know that a lot of us were taught when we were young that certain things weren't for us, that maybe black hair will never grow or you can never get your hair to look like. And I'm here to tell you that all of that is a lie. All the lies. And the way that you actually get the hair that you want is by learning your own hair, not learning somebody else's hair. You really have to spend time listening to your hair, but also doing your research. And I actually created a action guide that puts all of these tips that I'm giving you guys in an easy to follow, quick, like streamlined document. And in that document, I include a few pages on just hair education. Oops, sorry, Instagram. A few pages on hair education that teaches you about what I think are the 4 most important hair identity aspects. And that's your porosity, your hair strand thickness, your density, and your curl pattern. And I said that in order of most important. So your curl pattern is one of the least important factors in actually learning your hair, because hair comes in so many shapes and sizes, but really your curl pattern just determines how you handle your hair to optimize your health. So like if you have a curl pattern that kind of tangles up really easily, if you have a kinkier or coilier curl pattern, then you would make sure that you address that, but it doesn't really determine like what types of products that you use in your wash day schedule, your porosity and your hair strand thickness, and sometimes your density determines that. So I'll give you guys a super quick like snapshot of what that would look like. But I have lots of videos on this. And like I said, I also have a guide now where you can basically it's like a planner / journal that helps you stay on track with your hair goals. But porosity, low porosity, medium porosity, high porosity, this is going to determine what types of products that you're using and how you're able to retain moisture throughout the week. And this is most important because natural hair, it's naturally dry. Yeah, it's naturally dry. And the thing about moisture in our hair is that it very easily leaves. So you have to learn how to install the moisture into your hair and then retain that moisture throughout the week. And knowing your porosity will help you with that. Also, knowing your hair strand thickness is really going to help you with determining what types of products to use so that you're not wasting time, money, getting frustrated and disappointed with products that were never designed to work for you. So a really quick snapshot of this is if you have fine or medium strands, thicker products most likely are not going to give you moisture. A lot of the times we think thicker means more, and for fine and medium strands, that's not the case. But if you have thicker strands, meaning when you feel an individual strand between your fingers, it feels like a very strong, thick hair strand, then thicker products would most likely work for you. So That's why it's important to know your hair identity so that you're not wasting time and really kind of setting yourself up to fail right out the gate because you weren't knowledgeable about your hair profile. So, like I said, I have a guide that gives you a really good snapshot. It's like a general guideline of how you can build your regimen around your 4 hair aspects of your identity. But I also have free videos on YouTube. I have a bunch of Instagram posts that you guys can look at to learn more about your porosity, density, hair strength, thickness, and curl pattern. So let me look at these comments. I'm your biggest fan. Your product is dope. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. I learned this from your coaching identity and it has helped tremendously. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya was one of my first coaching clients and she was amazing, you guys. Shout out to Getting Fit Ty. This channel is lit. I'm gonna have the most healthiest waves on the planet. Yes, seasick over here. Learn your hair identity. Thank you, Trini, for putting the point in here. And okay, so for YouTube, let's see. Has anyone tried Natural Club? I actually have tried Natural Club. I've done a video on it, actually. It's my How to Deep Condition video. And when I used it back in 2016, I did really like it. Now, I haven't used it recently. I have 2 in my freezer I need to try. But I feel like I've found a deep conditioner that works a little bit better, and that's the Curl Origin Double Moisture Mask. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up pretty soon. So we talked about learning your hair identity. And so the next thing would be actually establishing your regimen. And there are a bunch of ways you can do this. You can use an app in your phone to write down what you're gonna do each week, every day, every month. You can just take out a notebook and kind of write it down. But in the guide that I created, I already have like a made for you template that allows you to write down the intentions that you have for your hair. Because it's all about, whenever you're trying to reach any goal, whether it's your hair, at work, like in your personal life, it's all about the focus that you put on it. When you put focus on something, it flourishes. It's like a natural law. It has to flourish. So in order for it to be easy for you to put focus on something, writing things down and using a template can be helpful. So what you want to do is basically write out a guideline for how often you plan to shampoo, clarify, co-wash, pretty much everything for your entire regimen. Detangle, deep condition. Also, I think it's really important if one of your goals is actually either retaining maximum length or growing your hair longer, writing out when you plan to wear protective hairstyles, low manipulation hairstyles, and actually wearing your hair out and free is very important if you get tangling whenever you wear your hair out and free, because wearing your hair in a wash and go every week when you're trying to retain length may be counterproductive because you're getting tangles and breakage and single strand knots. So what you can do for determining what types of styles that you're going to be wearing is, again, use your hair strand thickness. So for fine hair, usually your hair tangles very easily, and protective hairstyles can actually be detrimental to length because it doesn't allow you to detangle your hair throughout the week. You get a lot of shed hair, which leads to even bigger tangles and knots and actually hair breakage when you finally take the style out. So that's where knowing your hair identity comes into play. And then also co-washing. For high porosity hair, co-washing can be very helpful because it gives you moisture while also cleansing your hair, like a light cleanse. And if you also exercise on a daily basis or a weekly basis and you sweat a lot, co-washing can be helpful. But if you have low porosity or medium porosity hair, co-washing can actually be detrimental in most cases because it just adds to the product buildup that you have and results in even more dryness, breakage, and not reaching your hair goals. So when you're laying out the guideline for your regimens, of course, you want to make sure that you're keeping that knowledge that you learned about your hair identity in play. So that is my next tip. And I feel like Instagram, y'all are getting real dark for some reason. I don't know. It looks a little dark. That's okay. So I'm going to answer anything that has come up from that tip. Let's see. Somebody says, or Chantel says, I use the Hair Journal app that you suggested a while back. I really, really like that app. I hate that it crashes sometimes, but I like that app a lot. I'm going to start this today, writing things down. Yes, if you're serious about your hair goals, do not delay. The people who are successful and the people who actually make things happen in life don't wait. No matter if you can't get the guide that I have, or if you don't really know your hair identity right now, it doesn't matter. Just start somewhere. And as you start, the momentum will help you get to where you want to go. And in the end, you'll get there, but you'll never get there if you don't start. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fancy. You just have to put the intention and the focus there, and it'll begin to like flourish and manifest and turn into something beautiful. So I encourage you, if you do have hair goals and you haven't made your foundation for the year, to do that either today, definitely by the end of tomorrow, Sunday. Let's see. What's the hair journal app called? It's actually called the Hair Journal app, I believe. Hair Journey app. And if you look, you can use them. I think also Nia Amani has her Hair Days app. I have it, but I don't necessarily use it because I don't think it has a journaling feature, but that's kind of similar. So you can try that as well. But okay. So my last tip, you guys on Instagram, let me know if this is dark. I feel like this is dark and I don't know why. Yeah, let me know if this is dark. Thank you, Tajmani. Someone said, where would I get this guide? It's on my website, Miss Les K, PowerInYourCurl.com. If you go there, just go to shop and it's there in the curl shop is what I like to call it. But okay, so then my last tip is going to be that in order to bring forth your hair goals, you have to stay on top of your progress. Now, this can kind of be like a double-edged sword, and I know this personally. When I had like real intense hair goals, when I got fed up with my hair back in 2015, and I just completely threw everything out and started over, I had very intense hair goals. And so I'm a type of person, when I'm very cognizant of like a deadline, I can kind of get stressed. So I recommend trying not to check on your hair too much. So usually when I'm tracking my hair goals, if I have a hair goal for the year, I'll check in every 3 months. And that's a really good place for me to check in because that's where I will trim my hair. And it also gives you a really good span of time to test new products, new techniques, and see if things are actually working. And if they're not working, you can see that as well. So the way that I recommend tracking your progress is by establishing time frames that you'll do so. So if you have a 6-month hair goal, every 2 months may be good. And that way you get 3 checkpoints in between the time that you set your goal and the time that you achieved your goal. And then again, if you have a yearly hair goal, I think checking trim is really good because that way you can kind of see your length. If that's one of your goals, you can see your healthy length once you cut off those dead ends. And yeah, it just gives you some time, like a quarter or more when you're checking in on your hair goals. But within the guide that I have, let me see, we have basically, I like to spotlight things that are working, because a part of bringing forth your hair goals now and also later, because the thing about really getting clear on your regimen is once you're clear on your hair identity, once you're clear on what works for you, you do not have to change it for the most part, unless something happens internally, like maybe you become pregnant or something changes like with your hormone or nutrient levels. But for the most part, once you establish this foundation, you're Gucci. And that's why I really want to help you guys to start working on this now, so that 2 and 3 years from now, what may have been a source of frustration and stress for you is now something that's like easy breezy. At this point in my regimen, I know pretty much exactly what works, and I just change products out as I just want to try something new. Like that's basically what I do at this point. But 3 years ago, I was so lost, so confused, and it was really like a point of sadness for me, my hair, because I felt like I've been growing my hair for 4 years and I still don't understand what's going on. Like every time I detangle, there's breakage. Every time, like people would say like, oh, your hair looks so nice. And I'm like, little do you know, this thing is dry. She's breaking. I got countless single strand knots and I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, establishing your foundation will basically give you that confidence, that hair piece. You won't feel anxious when you get invited places because you'll know like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do to my hair. I know exactly what products. I know I'm going to style it. Boom. So yeah, having a progress tracker will help you get there because you can talk about what works and write that down, type it out, put in your hair journal app, putting in your phone, or if something is not working, you can see it immediately and then completely take it out and never use it again. The thing about being natural within an age of like just so many products and so much advice is sometimes I find that people see things don't work for them, but then they see somebody else say, oh, it's so great, it works so wonderful for me. And then you almost want to go back and revisit and try it again when you know it doesn't work for your hair. And that's not going to help you. So by outlining what's working for you and what's not, you give yourself permission to really let go of anything that's not serving you. And there's not going to be any growth if you're holding on to something that shouldn't be there. So yeah, those were all of my tips for how to easily achieve your hair goals in 2019. I think I have one more bonus tip, and that's basically, it's something that I tell my coaching clients a lot. And it's something that I personally embody as well. And that's to let go of anything that doesn't make you feel good. So if you're scrolling on Instagram and there are certain people that you love to see and you love their hair, but whenever you see them post, and maybe it makes you feel bad about your hair because you want to get to that point, or and it's not a bad thing if you feel this way, it's just honest. You have complete control to unfollow that person, to not look at certain YouTube channels or go on Pinterest or whatever it is, because you need to feel good within yourself to bring forth good things for you and bring good things into your life. So I like to, whenever I'm setting any new goals, to really cut out the noise and let go of anything that doesn't add to what I'm doing. So like I said, I give you permission to do that today. Go on a social media cleanse. If there are certain people you need to unfollow, if there are certain people in your life that you need to not talk to as much because maybe they talk down about your hair or they make you feel bad about your hair, you have permission to let them go as well, because you're never going to feel good about yourself if you're constantly coming into energy that's bringing you down. And even if you do build yourself up, you're then wasting energy that they tried to take away from you by building yourself back up to that same place. Whereas if they weren't there, you could build yourself up, build yourself up, build yourself up, and never be brought down. You see what I'm saying? And you would then grow and flourish. So that's just a bonus tip. Do what makes you feel good. Truly, it matters. So yeah, those were all of my tips. So true. I threw out so much product. Tanya says, yes, let it go. If it doesn't work, somebody says Eco Styler, for instance. Yeah, let it go if it ain't working. So, oh, you guys said the thing on Instagram is good. Okay, cool. Alrighty. All right, cool. So if you guys have any questions, I think I saw a few already. Thank you so much, Naturally Jane. Am I saying that right? I appreciate you. You're so welcome. Clarifying shampoo for low porosity hair that gives you moisture. Wet line gel is beige, Jasmine says. Okay, so on YouTube, Yvette Weaver was asking for a clarifying shampoo that gives you moisture. I think for a clarifying shampoo, especially if you have low porosity hair, it's okay to use a shampoo that is very, very cleansing. I'm not saying stripping, but just very, very cleansing. And there's one shampoo that I can recommend personally, and that's the Paul Mitchell Shampoo 2 Clarifying Shampoo. That one will truly take everything off your hair, like everything will become off your hair. But then if you follow it up with the detangler, that gives you a lot of moisture and a lot of slip. So I really like that product combo for when I'm really trying to clarify my low porosity hair. But then I also have heard really great things about the Camille Rose Natural Clarifying Shampoo. I haven't tried it, but the ingredients are nice. So if you prefer very, very clean ingredients, then that would be something I would recommend. And just try it to see if it works for you. If it doesn't, reach out to me and I can see if I can recommend anything else for you. And Janae say, yeah, you are the first outside my family. It's a pretty name. It's a really pretty name. Okay, so on Instagram, do we have any questions? Can you tell us more about how to easily achieve your hair goals in 2019? So I basically, throughout the entire live, what I was talking about was how to easily achieve your hair goals in 2019. I'll run through the tips one more time, and then if I can think of anything else, I'll include it in there. But basically, getting very clear about your hair goals is important. Then once you're clear about what you want to bring forth in your life, you can choose 1 to 3 priority hair goals that you can achieve right now. And that's a big part of easily achieving your goals. Choosing goals that you can attain within a 3 to 6 month to 1 year time frame, not choosing goals that are like 5 years from now. So being realistic and focusing on the things that you can accomplish pretty soon is really good. Like get the quick wins. The next tip was to learn your hair identity. And when you know your hair identity, you're able to have a more effortless regimen because you can really cut out what does not work. You don't even have to waste your time on it. You don't have to waste 3 weeks testing out a conditioner because you already know it's not for you. So that will help you easily achieve your hair goals of retaining more length or having healthier hair or whatever it may be. And then tracking your progress will help you easily achieve your goals because you'll be able to see something isn't working right off the bat and address that before you have any detriment or fallout from it. So yeah, those are pretty much all of my tips. But if you have any specific questions, just leave those down below. Instagram says, hello, beautiful. I just love your positive attitude and humble spirit. Thank you guys so much. Is it really that important to stretch your hair? That's a really good question. If it does not, let me rewind. If your hair doesn't experience any negative effects when you don't stretch your hair, like say you're somebody who can wear wash and goes without having any like much single strand knots or a lot of tangles, then no, it doesn't matter. There are people who their hair actually thrives better when it's just out and just able to be free as opposed to twisting it up and stretching it or stretching it like with a blow dryer. So if you're somebody who can just wear your natural curl pattern completely uninhibited and not experience any negative side effects, then no, it's not important to stretch your hair. SKB Jones says, thanks, I'm gonna get your hair goal action guide. Oh, thank you so much. Sherry Giraffe says, what does it give me? The action guide, I have an explanation of everything that's included in the action guide, but it basically is a streamlined, made for you template so that you don't have to go, like everything I talked about in this live, you would have to then go write all this down, kind of outline how you're gonna structure everything, and I have it already done for you. And the guide usually is $37 because it's a 28-page guide full of information. I include my hair identity pyramid in there to really help you get clarification on your hair identity, but I'm selling it for $20 right now because I just launched a new website and I really want to help you guys reach your goals. So just $20 for a made for you template to reach your hair goals. And if that's not something that you need, then that's cool. But if it's something that you're already going to do, it's just easy to have it handed to you as opposed to having to take the time. And then sometimes it produces resistance. Like when you know I need to go make a hair guide or make a strategy for my hair, it can kind of deter you from even sitting down to do it in the first place. So I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible for y'all. Beloved 132 says, how often should I moisturize my hair? That depends on your moisture levels. So if your hair is very dehydrated, if your hair is I would just say very dehydrated and you don't really have a consistent regimen where you're giving your hair good moisture consistently, I would recommend moisturizing your hair either once a day or twice a day. And this is me giving a recommendation and not really knowing your hair identity. So I can't give you like super specific, but if your hair is just dry all the time, you want to make sure that you're maintaining moisture by moisturizing twice a day, but it may be dry because you're not using the proper products or you're not using the proper shampoo or cleanser. So we would really have to get to the root of why your hair is dry. But if all of your shampoo and your products were correct, then you would want to just moisturize twice a day. And you would do that by using a light spritz of a water or a leave-in, and then using either a water-based cream and an oil, or just a water-based cream. If you have like low porosity to medium porosity hair, you wouldn't need to use an oil on top of that. So Sherry says, I understand now. Thanks. You're very welcome. Oh no. Somebody says, I recently got my hair washed and set, and now I've been experiencing lots of amounts of loss. That sucks. I'm sorry that that happened. You might want to talk to the stylist and ask her like what she used and what her process was, and feel empowered that you can do that because this is your hair. But yeah, you might want to talk to her and see exactly what she did differently so you can pinpoint the issue and make sure it doesn't happen again. Or like if there's something in your hair that maybe is active, you can neutralize it. Let's see. Is it such a thing as your hair not liking being in its natural state? I feel like my hair does better when I flat iron it once a month and leave it alone versus wash and goes versus wash and goes, which make it dry and brittle. I don't think your hair doesn't like being in its natural state. I think that maybe you haven't really set your regimen for when your hair is in its natural state, and you maybe haven't learned what your hair does like. So I think that might be it. Like you got your straight hair regimen down, and now it's just time to get your curly hair regimen down. And your hair may not like wash and goes. Actually, your hair may prefer like twist outs or braid outs, or even maybe like bantu knots, just like kind of stretch styles. That may be what's going on. But your hair, it was actually made to be curly. So there's definitely a way for you to wear your curly hair and it be like exactly what it was supposed to be, exactly what it was made to be, if you see what I'm saying. Issa Greener says, I think I should stretch my hair then. Thanks. You're welcome. Thanks, cousin. You're welcome. Okay, YouTube, what you got for me? I missed you on YouTube. I look up to you and I just saw your website. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Thank you. Okay, so I'm answering any questions. I think I saw somebody say something about, let me go back. Ooh, YouTube was popping. How do you feel about hair growth supplements like Viviscal? I think that's how you pronounce it. I think that it could be very tempting to fall into stuff like that, and you really have to have your awareness, like your inner awareness on, because those companies will really try to get you and make you feel like you need their product. So my rule of thumb with anything when it comes to my hair is that if it's not natural, as far as like additional supplements, I'm not going to use it because it's not worth risking my health over, just to have long hair when I know that I can naturally grow it. And we can all naturally grow long hair. If you don't have any nutrient deficiencies or any like health issues that inhibit your hair growth, you will naturally grow hair and you don't need a supplement for it. So I steer clear of anything that isn't like very, I don't know, it just makes me feel safe. So the only hair growth supplement I've used consistently is the Main Choice Metabolism Plus. And I really did like that. I don't know. I think it did help, but I was also having a really healthy regimen when I was using it. So I can't say how much it truly helps, but I have stopped using it and my hair still grows and everything's fine. And I've also used biotin, but that broke me out something serious. So I don't use that anymore. Let's see. How often should you do protein treatments? Sierra, thanks in advance. Protein treatments very highly vary. It varies depending on your porosity and how damaged your hair is. So the thing about protein treatments is that when you do a protein treatment, the protein is binding to your hair strand. And once you introduce that into your hair, it's very difficult to get the protein to unbind. So you don't want to do them too often because if you get protein overload, it can take a really long time to recover from that. And there's nothing you can do but pretty much just wait until the bonds weaken, excuse me. So if you have low porosity to medium porosity hair, your cuticles lay pretty close to the hair strand already. So you usually don't need to do protein treatments often, like twice a month at most to once a month, depending on the health of your hair again. And if you have high porosity hair, and if you have high porosity hair because you have color or maybe your hair is damaged, and high porosity hair just means that your hair shaft, your cuticles, excuse me, are raised off your hair shaft, which can happen when your hair is damaged or when you straighten your hair a lot. Then you can use a protein treatment. Again, it depends, like maybe 2 to 3 times a month. But that would be something I would really have to specifically know, like your hair history, to give a clear recommendation on. So I would say just to help you at home would be to try it once a month and see if your hair still feels weak. Try it twice a month and see how your hair feels. And then if you really feel like your hair is damaged, maybe try 3 times a month. I wouldn't recommend that unless it is very damaged. So 1 to 2 times would be the most that I would do that. Let's see. Any more questions? What's your take on rice water? That's a good question. My take is that I think it's interesting. I haven't tried it because I really do try to keep my hair care as simple as possible. And again, like I said, I know my hair will grow even if I don't take any supplements, do anything extra. So really, I focus my time on learning how to retain that length so that my regimen is balanced. So instead of me spending extra time to do like a rice water treatment or something like I used to do the inversion method way back in the day, I now just spend that time on trying to retain the hair that I naturally grow. But I do think that it could work. I think a lot of natural remedies can work as long as you're like, whenever you're doing anything that's going to nourish your hair, it's most likely going to give you some type of benefit. Like I said, what you focus on flourishes. So I think that it probably does give really good results. It's just that I think it might take too long, in my opinion, for my hair. That's just me. But okay, so I have one more question that I'm going to take. I'm going to take this question. If you guys have any last questions, just go ahead and leave them. But Tajmani says, I'm moving to a city where the humidity is insane. Do you have any advice for tending to natural hair in a crazy humid place? Yes, I do. And my advice, it depends on what you want. So you can go two ways with this. I've lived in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia, which was actually very humid because we were by the ocean. But you can go two ways with this. You can either, one, embrace the humidity and just kind of accept that your hair will get bigger. That's just how it is, because your hair cuticles, if your hair isn't properly moisturized, it will draw moisture from the environment. But even sometimes when your hair is properly moisturized, humidity can just be like that, much of a force on you that it just, your hair gets bigger. That's what happens. Or you can fight against the humidity, but the only way that you can do that is by using a silicone-based product. And the reason why is because the silicone in the product will block out any environmental factors and kind of keep the homeostasis of your hair intact, like the internal levels will remain the same. But the thing about using silicone-based products is that it's very hard to moisturize your hair throughout the week because you put this barrier around your hair, and now more moisture can't get in even when you want it to. And then also you just have to make sure that you're using a clarifying shampoo or a shampoo with sulfate, that will remove the silicone. So you can fight it with a silicone-based product, or you can just accept it and kind of like wear your hair around the weather. So what I would do is I would just wear my hair in twists for like 3 to 5 days. That way my hair wasn't really that affected by the humidity. And if it was, my hair is in twists, and then I would wear my hair out for like 2 to 4 days. And then if it got big, it kind of just got better. Like the bigger, the better, So yeah. But okay, Isabella, that's a good question. I'm going to end on this question because this is a really perfect question. Isabella says, how did you know that a product works for you? And I have a post about this on Instagram, I think. But basically, the way that you know a product works for you, you're welcome, Tajmani. The way that you know a product works for you is when you apply this product, you really have to just pay attention. Like, you really have to be aware of how your hair felt before the product. When you apply the product, does your hair feel instantly moisturized? Can you feel the product sinking into your hair pretty instantaneously? Does your hair look shinier? Do your curls start to clump up and start to really get defined? When you're separating your hair to apply product, is your hair untangling very easily, or is it getting very tangled? So all the good things that I described, that will be a product that your hair loves when you see an instant difference when you use it. Also, if you use a product, say it's a moisturizer, if you're able to retain moisture for 3 to 5 days at a time, that's a good product. A shampoo would be a good product if you can really cleanse your scalp and cleanse your hair, but your moisture levels are still intact. That's a good shampoo. So the way that you know a product is kind of like okay is if you feel exactly that when you apply the product. It's kind of just like, it's cool. Like, yeah, it's a cream. It kind of like coated my hair a little bit. I don't really feel anything like penetrating that deep or even doing anything that special, but my hair feels okay. It feels kind of moisturized. That would be a way you know it's like an okay product. And then the way you know a product is not for you is if you put it in your hair and like you make a face. Like it's like, ooh, what is this? Or you start to like separate your curls and your hair is tangling even more than it was before you put the product in, or it's like you didn't even detangle your hair. That's a product that does not work. You should either return it, throw it in the trash, give it away. That product shouldn't touch your hair anymore because your hair doesn't like it. It doesn't work for you. And holding on to a product that your hair doesn't like is not going to help you in any way. Even if you're trying to save the coin, it's not going to help you. So Another way to know if your hair doesn't like a product is if you use it and you can't maintain moisture throughout the week. So for me, I actually just tried 2 new products and my hair doesn't like them. My twist out came my twist out came out much differently than it usually does. Less shiny, less moisturized, less definition. And usually I can get like 4 to 5 days of moisture out of my twist out. And this is me at 4 days, like really trying to keep my hair moisturized. Like I've applied water and more product on top of what a week to just kind of keep my hair happy until wash day. So I hope that helps. Chantel says, okay, now I know what I'm using on my hair is working. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah. And then also something that can help you is if you have a product that you do love, the same feeling that you get with that product, you want to get with every product in your regimen eventually. So if you have kind of like a guideline or a benchmark of what your hair loves, that can give you an idea of what to look for in other products. So can you come back to YouTube, please? I will, you guys. I promise. I promise. I'm actually trying to, now that I have my website up, I can do more things. Oh gosh. Whew, y'all. It was a lot doing that. But yeah, I will be coming back to YouTube very soon. I actually kind of have an idea of when I want to come back, and I really appreciate every single one of you guys who are on this live, who follow me on YouTube, and who are just so sweet and beautiful and positive. I truly, truly appreciate it. I am going to go ahead and hop off, but I wanted to just thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I want to let you know that PowerInYourCurl.com is live. If you don't know why I have a website or what's going on, just go look at my last Instagram post. I explained why I rebranded Power in Your Curl. So now it's not just about my hair, it's about also helping you become your own hair goals. Like I've reached my hair goals, and now I want to help you guys do that in a way that's much easier, and less emotionally stressful than when I did it on my own. So yeah, and then also if you guys want the action guide for your hair goals for 2019, you can find it on my website, and it's $20 right now. It's usually $37, but it's almost half off because I really want you guys to get started on these goals. Like go ahead and start knocking them out. So 2 years from now, you can look back and be like, man, I remember when I had such and such problem and now I worked it out. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Thank you so much. I know that feeling. Yeah, that's the worst feeling. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. In YouTube, I will come back. I promise. I love you guys so much. Have a good weekend and do something today that restores your soul. Bye, you guys. YouTube. Bye. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I really, truly do appreciate y'all. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active right now, but I'll see you on YouTube when I come back. So bye.